Welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create a realistic procedural tree bark material in Blender from scratch using shader nodes. So, let's get started. Press Shift+A, add an icosphere. Then, increase its subdivisions to 6 to give us enough geometry for creating detailed bark displacement. Next, go to the render properties and change the feature set to experimental. This enables the adaptive subdivision option, which we'll use later for detailed displacement. Next, split the screen into two sections. On one side, we'll have the material preview, where we can see all the changes in real time, and on the other side, we'll work with the material nodes. Before creating the material, let me quickly explain the lighting setup I've prepared. I'm using an HDRI along with two emission lights. First, I have this large emission light with a strength of 57 and an off-white color. It provides the main overall illumination for the scene. Then, I have a second emission light with a blue color and a strength of 77, which adds a subtle blue tint and helps create some color contrast in the scene. Let's create the material. First, add a new material to the icosphere. Then, go to the material settings and, under the settings section, change displacement from bump only to displacement and bump. This allows us to use both surface bump details and actual geometric displacement, which will help create a much more realistic tree bark surface. Next, press Shift+A and add a Voronoi texture. To preview the texture, hold Ctrl+Shift and left-click on the Voronoi texture node. This will automatically connect it to the material output, allowing us to see the texture directly in the viewport. Next, change the distance metric in the Voronoi texture from Euclidean to Chebyshev. This creates sharper, more angular patterns, which work well for achieving a rough, cracked tree bark texture. Then, increase the scale of the Voronoi texture to 10. Select the Voronoi texture and press Ctrl+T to add the texture coordinate and mapping nodes. Connect the object output from the texture coordinate node to the vector input of the mapping node. In the mapping node, set the z-scale to 0.257. This stretches the texture along the z-axis, helping us create a more elongated bark pattern. Now, add a noise texture between the texture coordinate and mapping nodes. Set the noise texture's detail value to 15 to add more fine variation and complexity to the bark pattern. Also, set the noise texture scale to 10. Next, add a mix color node between the mapping and noise texture. Connect the object output from the texture coordinate node to the A input of the mix color, and connect the color output of the noise texture to the B input. This allows us to control the size and variation of the bark patterns. You can adjust it depending on whether you want larger or smaller bark details. Now, change the mix color blend mode to linear light and set the factor to 0.126. This adds subtle variation to the texture without making the pattern too harsh. Next, duplicate the noise texture to create variation for the roughness. Connect the object output from the texture coordinate node to the vector input of this new noise texture. Then, connect the color output of this new noise texture to the roughness input of the first noise texture. Set the new noise texture scale to 3. Now, add a color ramp and place it between the two noise textures. Use the color ramp to fine-tune the roughness variation. Adjust the handles until you get a result similar to mine. You can simply follow the settings shown on screen. The more you lighten the black handle, the softer and more blurred the overall texture will become. This looks good to me. I'm happy with the result. Now, let's move on to the base color. Connect the distance output of the Voronoi texture to the base color input of the principled BSDF. Then, hold Ctrl+Shift and left-click on the principled BSDF to preview the material. Let's see how our result looks. Next, add another color ramp between the Voronoi texture and the base color of the principled BSDF. Now, let's add some natural brown tones to the color ramp. For the black color, use a light brown shade with the hex value number 967759. For the mid-tone, use number 59359. And for the darkest tone, use number OD0905. You can use these exact hex values to match the result I'm getting on screen. Now, let's work on the roughness and bump details. First, connect the distance output of the Voronoi texture to the roughness input of the principled BSDF. To control the roughness variation, add a color ramp in between. Set the color ramp to black, B3 B3 B3, white, hashtag EDEDED. Next, add a noise texture to create a masking effect. Connect the object output from the texture coordinate node to the vector input of the noise texture. Hold Ctrl+ Shift and left click on the noise texture to preview the result. Set the noise texture scale values to 7, detail to 15, roughness to 0.679, and distortion to 0.3. Now, add another color ramp and adjust it to create the type of mask you want. Next, add a mix color node. Connect the color ramp we just created to the factor input of a mix color node. Then, connect the main bark color ramp to the input of the mix color. Connect the result of the mix color to the base color input of the principled BSDF. Finally, change the B color of the mix color to a natural green shade using the hex value number 436C28. This adds subtle green variation to the bark, making the material look more natural and organic. Now, let's create the bump setup and add some fine surface detail. First, connect the distance output of the Voronoi texture to the normal input of the principled BSDF. Then, add a bump node between them. Connect the existing Voronoi texture output to the height input of the bump node, and set the strength to 10. This converts the Voronoi pattern into detailed surface depth and gives the bark a much more realistic texture. Next, add another noise texture and connect the object output from the texture coordinate node to its vector input. Hold Ctrl+ Shift and left click on the noise texture to preview the changes. Set the noise texture scale value to 4, detail value to 15, and roughness value to 0.657. To combine this noise texture with our existing bump detail, duplicate the bump node and place the new bump between the first bump node and the principled BSDF's normal input. Connect the FAC output of the noise texture to the height input of the new bump node. This adds an extra layer of fine, natural variation to the bark surface. Adjust the bump strengths, set the strength of the noise texture bump to 15, and set the strength of the main Voronoi bump to 26. These values give us a good balance between the larger bark details and the finer surface texture. Now, duplicate another bump node to add extra detail to the green and mask areas. Connect the color ramp we used for the green mask to the height input of this new bump node, and set the bump strength to 26. This adds additional surface variation to the masked areas, making the bark look more detailed and natural. Now, let's work on the actual displacement. Connect the Voronoi texture to the displacement input of the material output. You might notice that the result looks a little extreme at first, but don't worry, the material itself is fine. We just need to control the displacement properly. To do that, add a displacement node between the Voronoi texture and the material output. Connect the Voronoi texture's output to the height input of the displacement node, and then connect the displacement output to the displacement input of the material output. This gives us proper control over the intensity and overall look of the displacement. Finally, set the scale of the displacement node to 0.037. This keeps the displacement subtle and gives the bark a more natural, realistic surface. And that's it. Our realistic procedural tree bark material is now ready. As you can see, the bark has a detailed and natural look, created entirely with procedural shader nodes. Thanks for watching, keep watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. More Blender tutorials are coming soon, so stay tuned.